各位同学们好，那今天我们来学 Section 6 Grouping Data with the Group by Class。什么叫 Grouping 啊？这 Grouping 也很重要。那我们来看一下。
The next clause that we're going to talk about is the group by clause. And this allows us to group column values together so we can answer questions like how much did each salesperson do in sales last year? Or how many sales did each salesperson place last year? Or how many people live in each state? It allows us to perform grouping related queries. Every time that we talk about a new clause, I like to show the general form and how everything combines together. So at this point we have the select clause, from clause, the where clause, I'm just going to say filtering criteria. We know the specifics of that. Let's skip a couple lines. We have the order by clause, and I'll just say column name. And again, we know we can use the ordinal or the alias in the order by clause. But now we're going to include the group by clause. And so the group by clause comes directly after the where clause. And to use it, we simply put in a column name or multiple column names. But we'll talk about that later. But so all you have to do is type group by, and again it turns blue, and then specify the column by which you want to group your results. For example, if I wanted to find the total sales amount, or the sum of the total due column, grouped by each salesperson in the sales.sales order header table, I would say select salesperson ID. This is where the aggregate functions come into play. Sum of the total due column, call it total sales, from sales.sales order header. And I want to group by the salesperson ID column. When I execute this, I have one row for each salesperson ID value, including null, and the sum of the total due value for each salesperson ID. You have to use an aggregate function in conjunction with the group by clause unless every column in your select clause is included in the group by clause. So let's look at that. So let's just say I did salesperson ID comma total due, and I wanted to group by the salesperson. This is going to throw an error. SQL sometimes does not have the best error messages, but this one is actually very helpful. The error message says that the total due column is invalid because it is not contained in either an aggregate function or the group by clause. What this tells us is that SQL requires every column in your select clause to either be an aggregate function or be included in the group by clause. So when we had the correct form, of course the total due function was an aggregate function, every one of our columns in the select clause is either in the group by clause, so salesperson ID is present in the group by clause, or it's an aggregate function, which is why this query evaluates properly. So let's take a look at another example. We have a table called production.product inventory. That stores information about for each product and for each location for each product, how many do we have in stock. So product 1 at location 1 has 408 in stock. Product 1 at location 6 has 324 in stock, and so on. If I wanted to find the total quantity for each product, or the total quantity in stock for each product across all of our locations, I could use the group by clause to solve this really easily. I could say I want to see the product ID, and then I want to sum on this quantity column, call it total in stock. Now again, if I just run this, I'm going to get an error because not every column in the select clause is either in the group by clause or is an aggregate function. So again, I want to find the sum of the quantity or the total in stock grouped by or for each product ID. So I'm going to do group by product ID. Now when I execute this, I find that product 1 has a total of 1,085 in stock, or across those 3 locations where product ID 1 had inventory, the quantity summed for those 3 rows is 1,085, and so on for each product in that production.product inventory table. Now suppose, along with the total in stock, I wanted to see how many locations each product was stored in. So product ID, for example, we saw was stored across 3 different locations. How many locations is product 2 stored across, and product 3, and so on? Well, we can use multiple aggregate functions within the same query. So I can say select product ID, sum of quantity, and now we can use this count of star again to find total locations, or the locations in which that product is stored. And again, if you think that the count of star is just the count of rows, or the count of instances, we're saying for each product ID, how many rows are associated with that product ID, or how many rows have a product ID of 1 or 2 or 3 or so on. So now when I execute this code, I have the sum of the quantity column and the number of times that that product ID value appears in the table. In the next lesson, we're going to take a look at a few more group by clause problems, and we're going to start to combine this group by clause with the where clause, and when we start joining to other tables as well. So we ended the last lesson off with this query on the screen. The next clause we're going to talk joining to other tables.
那么这个 video 呢讲的也不是太多，讲了一个 grouping 啊，什么叫做 grouping？ 我们为什么要做 grouping 啊？大家看一下，我们也举一个简单的例子。经常用啊 grouping， 经常用，这些讲的都是经常用的。grouping 就是 group by。这是什么意思呢？分组，分组的意思。那怎么才叫分组？那我们就举个例子看一下啊。Select star from product inventory 吧。真的。product inventory， 这是一个 inventory， 就是库存。比如说这个型号的产品，它这个 product one 的，它呢存在3个不同的地方 ，OK， 然后呢这个有这么多啊，有好几百个。400、700，有1000多个 ，OK， 然后每一种的型号是这个型号。那如果我们要是计算 ID 是1的有几个 ，ID 是2的有几个 ，ID 是3的有几个，那我们不可能就一个个这么查吧，对吧？那我们如果要是直接用 sum function， 那比如说我们想计算这个 quantity 有多少个，那我们直接 sum 什么呢 ？quantity， OK， 那会出现什么呢 ？production 的 inventory， OK， 那会出现什么？我们会把这个所有的都加在一起啊，那得出现好几百万个，个十百千万啊，30万个。那你这么看不对呀？ 我们这个 number 是 one 的，那我一共要多少个呀？对吧？那你这么写行不行？where product ID 等于 one， 这么写行不行？可以，但是呢，你只能计算出1的。那你说我要是看所有2的、3的、4的怎么办？对吧？2的有这些，3的有这些，那怎么办？那你这个时候就要涉及到什么 grouping 了，对吧？那我们可以尝试一下 ，select product ID， 然后呢，sum 什么 sum quantity， 然后呢 group by， 我们要 group by 什么 product， 就是说以 product 的 ID 分组来显示我这个 sum， 懂不懂？好，大家看一下啊。好，第一个是1085，那我们验证一下啊。1085对吧？那第二个是这些，它自动就是以 product ID 为基础的分组，然后呢去 sum 我们的什么这个 quantity。那我们把这个 sum 呢改成 count， 我们的 quantity， 看一下。那就是变成计算个数了，多个 aggregate function 也可以 combine 在一起，对吧？还可以用什么 sum sum 的 quantity。好，大家看一下，看多个 aggregate function 可以 combine 在一起，所以呢，这里呢就是有一个必要的条件。单独的用 aggregate function 呢是没问题的，但是你要是涉及到一些这个别的 column， 那它就会出错。OK， 如果我们要把这个 group by 去掉，那么它肯定会出错。好，他说呢，你必须要，既然想用 aggregate function 呢，你必须要有什么 group by， 所以呢，这个小重点也要记一下啊。必须有 aggregate function。如果大家用这个逻辑去想这个事情也对。如果你要是没有光有 group by 没有 aggregate function， 那我有 group by 什么呢？对吧？所以 group by 必须要有 aggregate function。好，那我们来看下一个 video。
Query on the screen where we found so we ended the last lesson off with this query on the screen where we found for each product in this production.product inventory table how many of each product were in stock and how many locations was each product stored in. Let's go back to our sales.sales order header table and we find that we have a salesperson ID and territory ID. One thing you can do with the group by clause is group by multiple columns. In this case, suppose we want to group by the territory and then by the salesperson. This is very similar to when you find sales by year and then by quarter and then by month. So you're essentially establishing a hierarchy directly within your group by clause. So within the sales order header table, let's group by the territory ID and then by the salesperson ID to find the total sales or the sum of the total due column by territory by salesperson. So to do that, we're going to do select territory ID on the salesperson ID, and then we want to sum the total due column, call that total sales. Now let's say we only want to consider those sales that occurred in the year 2006. So we'll say where order date between 1/1/2006 and 12/31/2006. Now we need to group by both the territory ID and I place a comma, and now I'm going to type the salesperson ID. So I'm grouping by the territory ID and then by the salesperson ID. To use the other clause that we have, the order by clause, let's order by the territory ID and then the salesperson ID, both in ascending order. To keep it simple, we'll just do order by 1, 2. Again, the column ordinal for territory ID and then salesperson ID. So when I execute this, null values are not ignored. So a null value is treated as a unique ID. So in this case, in territory 1, there were $936,000 worth of sales for sales that were not associated with the salesperson. There were 6,500 sales associated with salesperson ID 274 for territory ID of 1. If we scroll down a little bit, we see that salesperson ID 275 had sales across multiple territories. So this is where grouping by multiple columns can create some unique situations where, in this scenario, the salesperson has multiple sales or has sales across multiple territories, so grouping by the territory and then by the salesperson could yield multiple rows for the same salesperson ID, which is fine, because again, we're finding sales by territory and then by salesperson. So this isn't a bad query, but it's kind of ugly. We see the territory ID as opposed to the territory name, and we see the salesperson ID instead of the salesperson's name. Let's use joins to return the territory name and the salesperson's name in place of these IDs. So the first thing I want to do is give this sales order header table an alias. And to make things simple, let's do an inner join from sales.salesorderheader to sales.salesperson so that we ignore all rows with a null value in the salesperson ID column, or where there's no match for that particular row in the salesperson ID column. So we're going to join to sales.salesperson, we'll call that SP, on the business entity ID column of sales.salesperson equaling the salesperson ID column from sales order header. And again, that's going back to looking at the keys like we did before. Now, if we remember, the salesperson table does not contain the first name and the last name of the salesperson. In a previous example, we joined from salesperson to human resources.employee and then from human resources.employee to person.person. We can actually skip that middle join and just go directly from sales.salesperson to person.person. So now I'm going to say inner join to person.person, call that P. And how are we going to join to this table? By matching the business entity ID values from salesperson and person.person. So now I can place p.firstname, p.lastname in place of the salesperson ID. But now I also want to define the territory name. To do that, we're going to join to the sales.sales territory table. So I'm going to say inner join sales.sales territory. And we'll call that ST. How are we joining? On the territory IDs in both sales.sales territory and sales.sales order header. Now I can replace territory ID with st.name, as we'll call it territory name. But we're not done yet. Now I have to modify the group by clause because these columns are not in our select clause anymore. So now what I have to do is replace the territory ID in the group by clause with st.name, because that's really what we're grouping by now. Not so much the territory ID, but the name associated with that territory. And similarly, we're going to replace salesperson ID with the first name and the last name. Now, since the first name and last name are unique, by doing p.firstname, p.lastname, we're going to get the right answer. I'm going to show you just after this how we can make this a little bit cleaner. So now when I run this query, I see for each territory, for each salesperson, how many sales they did. If we scroll down, now we're ordering by 1, 2, which is by the name as opposed to the territory ID and the salesperson ID. So our ordering is going to be a little bit different, but the results are essentially the same. For each territory and for each salesperson within that territory, how many sales did we do in the year 2006? Now, I would prefer, if I were to actually deliver this to somebody, to concatenate the first name and last name columns to create a full name. So instead of grouping by the first name and last name column separately, I'm going to group by their full name as one unit. We haven't talked about functions yet and concatenations, but just so you see it, I can use the plus symbol to join strings together or to concatenate strings together. So I'm going to say replace first name comma last name with the full name, which is the person's first name, plus a space, and then their last name appended to that. Now I have to make that same change to the group by clause here. So I'm going to do group by essentially this function that represents their full name. I'm going to give this an alias as salesperson name. And now when I run this, I get the same answer. It's just a little bit cleaner. I'm seeing the salesperson's full name as opposed to their first and last name separated. But if you notice, I get the same number of rows, and it has absolutely no impact on the actual data. So that's all we're going to talk about with the group by clause. In the next lesson, we're going to introduce the having clause, which allows us to filter out.
那上一个 video 呢，它只是把这个 group by 和这个 where 啊、inner join 啊、table join 啊，还有这个 order by 啊，很多东西结合在一起。如果同学们刚入职呢，能写出来上一个视频的那一段代码呢，那我觉得这个你的老板应该会很高兴，可以证明你起码不是啥也不会，你不是小白，你是会一点的。最起码你是多少是有一点水平的，你并没有在这个面试的期间就是忽悠他，你是会做的，好吧？如果可以把那个熟练的写出来啊，就是说，一般你的工资范围在5万左右是没问题的，年薪5万是没问题的。好，那我们就来尝试练一下。那这是呢 ，sales 的 order head。好，那么我们这次用的 ID 是 territory ID 和 sales 的 person ID。OK， 然后呢，大家看这个 total due 啊 ，sum 一下 ，OK， 每一个按什么？按 sales、按 territory 和 sales person 分组，然后我们算一下这个钱数的。总和 ，OK， total due， OK， as total sales。好，那这个我们一定要有什么？ aggregate function 对吧？那就 group by。group by 是什么呢？这个 ID 嘛，对吧 ？group by 的其中一个 ID 它会出错啊？为什么？因为这个 ID 它也得去分组啊。大家看一下，这就会出错。你只告诉其中一个 ID 分组，那没告诉另外一个，那肯定就会出错。所以呢，我们要加上什么？ sales ID 啊，也得 group by 它。所以凡是你这个 select 里边有这个 aggregate function 的时候，你就记住一定要 group by 其他的 column。如果你要是不 group by 的话，肯定会出错。好，那这个结合了什么 where class？ 那我们要筛选什么呢？筛选这个 order date。order date 在这个用 between and 的方式啊 ，between 1月1号2006 and 12月11日2006。好，我们看一下它识不识别啊。好，没问题啊。这个就是上一个例子加的一个时间。那么我们还可以加什么 order by？ 你看这个，大家看这个 territory ID 啊，它都不是这个从小到大或者从大到小的。OK， 那我们还可以加一个什么 order by territory ID， 然后直接写这个1就可以。OK， 然后再 order by person ID。好，大家可以看一下。好，那就 order 了。好，那这个视频里说了，我们不需要这个ID 啊，出这个报表看这个1，谁也不知道这个1是什么，所以我们要给它换成这个 territory 的名字，然后这个 sales person 呢，我们也要给它换成这个名字。OK， 那怎么做呢？我们肯定要多抓几个 table 进来，那我们要用到什么 table join 嘛，对吧？OK， 先给一个 alias 啊。首先呢，我们要找到什么 sales person inner join sales 的 sales person， 然后这里呢就给一个 SP 吧，给个 alias。那这 join condition 是什么？那就有 SOH 的 sales person ID 等于 SP 的 business entity ID。好，那么我们这个 sales ID 但是呢，我们这个 sales person 里边啊是没有名字的，没有 first name 和 last name， 所以我们还是要连接一个person table， person 的 person 我给一个 p 就好了，给一个 alias table alias， 给 p 的 entity ID 等于 SP 的 entity ID。为什么不直接关联什么呢？和 person。为什么不直接关联这两张表？为什么中间还要经过一个 sales person 呢？而且 sales person 吧，里边还没有名字，那我直接就联系他俩，不就有名字了吗？大家要记着啊，我们需要抓的数据是什么？是 sales person 的名字，并不是说所有的人的名字。假如说这里边有这个 ID， 它不是 sales person， 这些我们是不要的。我们只要什么 sales person 的名字。如果不关联 sales table 的话，我们抓出来这人的名字无法保证他是 sales person， 所以我们一定要关联 sales person table。OK， 所以我们用 inner join。OK， 好，那这里边呢，我们就用什么 p 的 first name and p 的 last name。好，那 territory ID 呢？我们肯定要换成这个 territory name。那我这里呢还要一个 inner join 一个 sales territory。好，join condition 是什么？这里给的一个 st alias st 的 territory ID 吧，等于 sho 的 territory ID， 它有吗？ 好，那这样我们就可以从这个 territory 中呢取出这个 name。那我们就不要这个 territory ID 了，我们直接要 territory name， 那就是 t 点 st 点 name。啊，这个是我们想要的。好，但是呢，这个 group by 就不对了。OK， 那我们 group by 呢就不能用这个 territory ID 了，我们要用这个我们这个 name， 对吧？因为我们换了嘛。我们这个 select 里边的 aggregate function 啊，有 aggregate function， 其余的都要什么 group by 嘛，对吧？好，那我们复制一下，这些呢都要换掉。好，那现在我们 run 一下。好，大家可以看啊，这个 ID 什么我们都换成名字了，这个一目了然，多好。那还讲了一个什么 concatenation， 就是结合，把这个两个last name 和 first name 给它捏在一起，捏成一个 column。这个呢，这个初级还不涉及这个，但是呢，既然讲了，那我们就做一下吧。那我就打个加号，然后两个空格 ，OK， 打一个加号，这个就好了。那这个我们可以那个 alias as full name。好，那下面这个group by 呢，我们也要换。好，可以 run 一下啊。好，大家看见没？它两个就捏在一起了。好，那我这个 concatenation 应该是这个高级 SQL 里会涉及到一些东西啊。那下一个就是作业了，那大家打开看一下。好，一些简单的一些 practice， 大家可以练啊，一定要练，千万要练，好吧？好，那这节课就到这里。